It has been a few days now since Sadiq Khan has become Mayor of London. A success story that is welcomed by many, albeit almost crumbled by the forked tongue of Zach Goldsmith. But next, what I have come to realise. Every day, our politicians and their debates leave us confused. Corruption is now rife in our system, and it shows. MPs trying to worm their way out of tax evasion, whilst many of us have to pay late fees on our tax return if we simply owe £50 and don't pay it straight away. We have politicians taking chunks out of each other rather than telling us how they can make things better. They promise money to our NHS system, and you can find that in one of my other videos. Then default on that promise and reduce the amount of money being given. Money is being taken from the economy left, right and centre and put into the austerity programme. Parliament is a theatre and it is there to confuse us. At present, it is not illegal to lie and misinform on the news. We are told terrorists are banging on the doors of our borders and the UK threat of a terrorist attack are on high alert. But don't be fooled that the Queen mentioning on camera that the Chinese are rude and David Cameron talking about corrupt countries is real. They knew the camera was there. They were aware of what they were saying. The police refused to comment on what was a private conversation. It wasn't private. There were other people around and there were cameras there, I say again. We are being directed away from something else. What that is, I don't know. If you have any ideas, leave a comment in the box below. It may be that the EU referendum is coming up and the government want to stay in. Certainly David Cameron does, even resulting in the practice of scaring us with the onset of a world war. The polls for voting out fell by 4 points on that day, would you believe? At present, we trade with China through the EU. If we leave the EU, are we not in a better position to maybe scope out a better trade deal with China? However, alienate China, they then go on to say that they won't trade with us, or it may cause a rift with China over what the Queen has said. The general public then will realise this and they start to think maybe we are better staying in as the EU can negotiate for us. Now also bear in mind the borders being down if we do stay. Why are we no longer being bombarded with the effects of immigration? Because at the moment it doesn't fit the needs of the government. David Cameron has lined up content already for the Queen's speech, which will see the points of view and opinions of the general public being played with. The government have yet again come up with their own definition of a legislation to fit their needs. Almost a bit like the definition of child poverty that they changed to suit the statistics that they had, making sure that it looked like they had succeeded in the job that they set out to do. No, they have come up with a definition of domestic extremism that is not as clean cut as it should be, enabling them to move the jumpers and goalposts when they like. I quote, "Domestic extremism relates to the activity of groups or individuals who commit or plan serious criminal activity motivated by a political or ideological viewpoint." Now, to anyone sane, that would come as a welcome change and be seen as the government trying to protect us. That is until you get to the bottom of the statement with regards to serious criminal activity, which the government has redefined. Something else they have changed, and it is that the conduct involves the use of violence, results in financial gain, or is conduct by a large number of persons in pursuit of a common cause. Now take the phrase "or conduct by a large number of persons in pursuit of a common cause." Does that mean the Samaritans or Oxfam are up for a crackdown? Are they not in pursuit of a common cause? We are very slowly being pushed into silence. The Houses of Parliament, in my view, is in a mess. False flags are being hoisted faster than a man from shark-infested water. Now, I stumbled across something the other day about the Queen. It happened in 1964. I say stumbled because I was following links for something else for about 40 minutes, close to an hour, and this came up. Am I going to mention it now? No, I don't feel I can at the moment. But it would show that there is corruption through the very backbone of our establishment. Now, the Tories have received a High Court challenge to hand over election spending information. The claim states that the Tories breached election spending rules, and the Electoral Commission have applied for document and information disclosure. Now, you have all seen the news and thousands of people may know this, so why am I saying it now? Well, this has come about as David Cameron hosts an anti-corruption summit in London, intended to encourage transparency. But whilst he wasn't transparent about the spending or the Blairmore Fund in the tax haven of Panama, and in my view, staged events such as Cameron calling the Nigerians corrupt, the Queen calling the Chinese officials rude, clouded our view and made us almost forget about the 7 different police divisions also investigated the Tories over claims of election fraud. The investigation comes after the Electoral Commission met with police and prosecutors in a bid to ensure they do not run out of time to launch a possible criminal investigation into Conservative funding. Run out of time. Now, they're not going to do that, are they? If anyone is found guilty, it could mean 1 year in prison and an unlimited fine. Who do you think that will be? I have one person in mind that may go to prison if that comes. All this, in my view, has started to happen since Corbyn has made an appearance. Now, it may well be, as it has been suggested, that I am focusing on politics, so I am beginning to see more. Food for thought. But this has to stop. The government is there to make our country great. And if these people continue to manipulate their positions for their own pocket, where will we end up? Let me know your thoughts. Like the content? Click thumbs up. And as always, click subscribe and don't miss an episode. Now, I know the sound hasn't been great on past videos and possibly not great on this one. This is a new venture for me. I used to be a blogger and now I'm a YouTuber. Bear with me and the sound will get better. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.